Welcome back to another edition of the Monkey and the Monster YouTube channel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 3 recap. Any thoughts on the show?
I liked it. I mean, it wasn't as action-packed as I was thinking this episode would be. It was more a little laid back, but I liked it a lot.
I thought it was really awesome. I think it had its moments of action-packed parts. In the beginning of the episode, you see Lincoln being chased down by some soldiers in the woods.
Yes.
You have the whole scene where he charges up the electrical tower and you see all the sparks coming down. I thought that was very awesome. That was some pretty good action there.
Yeah.
And then later on in the episode, we got a little bit more action. I think I got to disagree. It wasn't. I think it had a lot of action. It just wasn't as
high intensity.
I guess there wasn't cars flipping over like the first episode. And there wasn't as suspenseful moments, I would say, like the second episode, where you had Fitzsimmons reuniting or Fitz jumping into the portal to try to get Simmons out from the other planet. I think this wasn't as suspenseful, but I do think it had a little bit more action in this episode.
Well, I mean, not every episode has to be crazy, like you said, cars flipping over. I mean, I guess it was alright.
What'd you think about Hunter and May?
I don't know. I feel like I want to like it, but at the same time, I don't know. I just don't think they have enough chemistry. Their characters, like, I don't really feel a connection between the two of them. I kind of just feel like there's like something that was forced together in a way.
I gotta agree with you on that. It does seem a little off. Something there just doesn't seem like it's clicking as well as the other characters do together. For some reason, it does just have like an awkward type feeling. At least for me, with this pairing of Agent May and Hunter going after Ward. That one's not really appealing to me.
No.
I gotta say, not like you would with the Mockingbird and Hunter there.
What do you feel about Agent May's new outfits?
Agent May with her new wristbands, her cool wrestling wristbands. I guess it makes her tougher. Or
I don't know what it's.
I guess when Agent May's going undercover as a bad guy or as a villain trying to infiltrate Hydra, she got to have the wristbands because that means she's bad.
She had like a dark Barbie shirt on or something. Does that say Barbie or something?
I didn't see what it said.
It was something weird like
dark
that.
Barbie.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what it was, but it was pretty funny looking. How about them infiltrating Hydra in a way?
That was very interesting. I thought it was interesting in the fight where Hunter literally gets a crap beat out of himself.
Oh wow!
I thought he was supposed to be like some highly skilled agent.
I was surprised. I thought like, well, surely this isn't all he has. I mean,
and he
just a common guy. I mean,
he did take quite a beating in this episode. I thought I was a little off put by the beating he took by some random villain guy. I thought he was on par with like Ward and all those other guys at his martial arts level.
It took May leaving the scene to go and beat up some guys, and then she went back. He's still getting beat up. And
yeah, May beat up 3 guys on her own. Went back, watched the fight, and Hunter's still fighting the one guy. Explain that one to me. What about Fitzsimmons?
Very interesting, actually. I believe you had some ideas of like the roles they're playing this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about like a little bit of role reversals from last season, whereas in
Oh right, yeah.
yeah, come back to us.
Yeah, earlier we were speaking on it. Yeah, I felt that they're doing a little bit of a role reversal as they did last season when we got Fitz back from almost dying, and he was kind of out of it. He was trying to come back to being in his own mind and getting his brain cells back and not being so traumatized. We're getting a little bit of that dynamic in this season here with Simmons coming back from that strange planet.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a twist though. Simmons wants to go back. What do you think about that?
I was really shocked with that. Like, for one, I seen like kind of towards the beginning where Fitz was taking her back in the lab, and she kind of seemed like she didn't want to be there. It was kind of a little out of her element, if you will. It just wasn't. She wasn't feeling it.
She's definitely
And
having
then it cuts, or later on in the scene, we see. Was it Bobby? She's walking from her gym or whatever she was doing, and then she sees Simmons in the lab, and she asks her what she's doing, and she sees Simmons has like pieces of the monolith, and like Bobby tries to go and like take it, and Simmons goes and grabs it, and like, no, you can't. I need to find something out about this. She was like, why? It's over with. She's like, no, I can't. I need to go back. I have to go back.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I wonder what it is that was over there on the other planet that she was at that was chasing her, and why she wants to go back. Was she trying to save somebody? What was going on there? I wonder what that's going to end up being.
Yeah, very strange.
That was actually very interesting. But she's definitely having trouble adjusting, coming back to Earth, I guess, from wherever she was at. She's having a little bit of trouble with her senses. She was adjusting to the new atmosphere again.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting. But yeah, like last season, how Fitz had trouble adjusting. She's having the same or similar adjustments that she has to make in this season. So I wonder how that's going to play out.
If you recall, a little early on in today's episode, Fitz, I forgot who he was talking to, I don't recall, but he was discussing the fact that Simmons told him that she was being hunted of sorts in that, or in where she was in that planet area.
Yes, she did say.
So early on in the episode, we see that there's something. I mean, she's being hunted by somebody or something. I'm not exactly sure what.
We still don't even know what planet she was on.
Yeah.
So I wonder what that's going to be later on in the season as we progress. Later on down the line in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Season 3.
So what did you think about this whole Lincoln ordeal that we've seen in this episode?
Well, the ATCU is definitely on the hunt for Lincoln. That was pretty interesting. The whole little fiasco they had, or the dilemma that they had with Coulson meeting up with Rosalind and kind of coming to a deal that he was gonna turn in Lincoln, because earlier in the episode, Sky was Daisy.
She had flowers this episode. To remind you, she's Daisy.
Yeah, she's Daisy now, also known as Quake. She's no longer Sky. I need to drill that in my head. For some reason I can't. It's going to take a little while.
Well, we had like 2 seasons of her being Sky.
Just like Fitzsimmons had trouble adjusting, I too am having trouble adjusting.
What about Lincoln being kind of blamed for the whole incident at the hospital we seen last episode? Like, even though they know that there's other Inhumans, and I'm pretty sure maybe the ATCU had images, because Coulson was talking with Rosalind this episode, discussing that she had images that she seen from the hospital. Surely they had to have seen Lash. I mean, why is Lincoln being kind of targeted for this whole thing? And they released a photo of him. I guess he's a key suspect, or the main suspect of that.
Not to skip over what I was talking about earlier though, but I wonder how that's going to play out with the situation with Coulson meeting up with Rosalind, and he gives a deal to turn in Lincoln, and then that goes south, and then Lincoln takes off. He uses his inhuman powers to get away. So then, instead of taking Daisy, Coulson decides to give himself up. That was a very interesting twist of events there. And it was interesting how Coulson says he doesn't trust him, but he's already gone up against other factions like another S.H.I.E.L.D. team and Talbot that he went up against. Instead of actually trying to fight against them, maybe joining them and trying to work from the inside, and instead of causing another war, actually working with them and kind of steering the ship in his own way. I wonder how that's going to end up turning out.
Yeah.
Between S.H.I.E.L.D. and...
How about we go back a little bit to...
How about we don't?
Wow, okay. Maybe I should just go. Sure. So how about we back up a little bit and talk a little more in depth about Lincoln? I noticed that when he was on the run in this episode, he calls upon somebody named John. But he doesn't.
Who the hell's John?
Yeah, I don't know who John is, but somehow John is very significant to him. I mean, supposedly he's called upon him to help him with other things. And what I found interesting about something that John said was that something along the lines of, this is better me picking you up here than trying to talk you off of some bridges or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know.
Very interesting. I wonder if he was self-inflicting harm on himself, maybe being suicidal at one point. I'm not sure what exactly they were implying there, but that's what I took from that. Is it seemed like he was implying that maybe Lincoln might have been a little suicidal at one point, where he had to walk him off of a bridge, or if he was speaking like metaphorically, or what he was going with that. But quickly turned on him once he seen the APB on the TV. Yeah. He was quick to call the authorities to go and pick up Lincoln. Some friend he was.
I know. What I found really funny, it's not funny, it shouldn't
Lincoln
be funny.
killed the guy.
He really killed him. I mean, all he did was like electrocute the bat out of his hand, and the guy freaked out. And he like had like a heart attack or something. But like, he didn't physically go and like shock his heart or something. He just was like, oh my God.
And it turns out John was weak.
Yeah. He got nothing in this episode.
John was there for... who the hell's John?
I don't know who John is.
He was there to die, though. That was his purpose. Lincoln killed the guy.
So what I have a question, though, is what I'm wondering, is because Lincoln called Shield, he called Sky looking for some help this episode, only to come to find out that Coulson, at the exact same time, was making a deal with Rosalind to give her Lincoln in order to keep Daisy safe, because Rosalind was targeting Daisy. We find that out. But, I mean, I have to believe that Lincoln's gonna be on the offense now, because he trusted in Shield this one time, and the one time he wants to trust in them, they turn their back on him.
I definitely think his trust is going to be at a minimum now, especially with that whole situation going down, where he actually finally did confide in Daisy and try to get help from her. And he was kind of resistant on not working with Sheild, but he was agreeing to work with Daisy. And still, I mean, once that happened, you get Matt coming in, and the whole situation went south. So I wonder how that's going to play out later in the season. That should be very interesting.
Yeah. So, what about the preview? What did you feel about the preview that they showed?
I feel next week's preview is going to feature Lash a lot. It's going to be interesting.
What made you think that?
I don't know. I just have a hunch. I'm not sure what it is. It's not like I watched the preview.
It's not like every few scenes there was like a Lash in a different situation. Got some close-ups and all the whole...
Yeah, definitely got the first close-up of Lash's face in that preview there. It was for a split second, but that was actually very interesting, that preview. So next episode, I believe we'll actually get to see Lash.
Yeah.
Up close and up front. See what he actually looks like. So
we also seen a little bit of Ward in that scene. Wonder.
Yeah, a little bit of Ward in that preview there. Get some Ward, some Lash. What else was in there? Do you remember anything?
No, I just think it was really heavy on Lash. Like that's all I really seen. I seen a tad of Ward, and aside from that, I
did
didn't really
say
see
Lash returns.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't see it a lot.
I was pretty blunt about it. Pretty upfront. Lash returns next week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I guess they can't give away too much. Did you have a favorite moment?
Favorite moment from this episode was... I would probably have to say at the beginning when they were chasing Lincoln and he heated up that electrical lines, and you just see all the sparks just flying down. I thought that was really cool. Some great effects in there.
Yeah.
It was just really awesome. For me, stood out. That was most memorable, and scene at least. How about yourself?
No, I really liked early on in the episode where Lincoln was in like a Greyhound or a bus or something, and it shows like on the screen inside the bus, and shows that his face was like being put as a suspect, and the military guy, looks at him, and like Lincoln turns off like the electrical system in the car. And I know the guy goes up and he says, "I know what you are." And Lincoln turns to him and he's like, "You have no idea." And then he walks out. I don't know why, I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, definitely got to see a lot of Lincoln's power. You actually got to see him use his powers a little bit more and in different ways in this episode, which I thought was actually really cool.
yes.
He was able to electrify the power lines, a subway.
Try to revive John.
That didn't work. It failed miserably.
Whoever
He
John
killed
is.
the guy. He killed John. Whoever the hell he is. He's dead.
One quick thing. Did Hunter actually kill that guy when he was fighting him?
I think he did. That guy said he stopped breathing, so.
Yeah, but like May looked really, really like upset about
Yeah.
it. He was right there like, eh.
Like his own cavalry moment where she killed
The little girl.
oh yeah, it was a little girl, right? The little
Yeah.
girl and
The evil little girl.
that's right.
She wasn't no sweet little girl last season. She was an evil little
But she
girl.
had to deal with that mentally. I wonder if that's gonna bother Hunter a little bit. Probably not, but maybe. It might have the same effect that killing somebody had on May. I mean, I don't think that was his intention to go kill anybody when he was going and trying to infiltrate Hydra, so we'll find out.
Yeah. So.
Any last thoughts?
No,
Last
I'm
words?
not.
No? Until next time.
Also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section, and hope to see you next week.
Yeah, tune in, subscribe, like, give us your feedback. Anything we're doing great, anything we're not doing great. We'd appreciate it. Until next time.